Good morning, everybody. I'm out here in the orchard, and it's high time that I did an update on the Rancho. We're probably about 2/3 of the way through the summer harvest season. We still have fall with citrus to be taken in. Had planted, I think 10 tomato plants this year. Really went hog wild with tomatoes. But also a lot of work was done here on the Rancho, as you guys know, on the channel. And as we're starting here today, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please take a moment, subscribe, and hit the bell for all notifications. It's kind of unusual to have like a, what I call a rancho, which is a small little ranch slash farm slash homestead in the middle of a city. But that's exactly what I have here in Santa Rosa, California, and the property really packs a punch. Besides that, there's vintage audio, metal detecting, live streams, lots of travel and things like that. I would love you to be a part of it, so please hit the bell, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications so you don't miss anything. Some stuff went well this year, some stuff not as good as I would have hoped. Here we are, August 11th. Of 2024. Let's get into it. This is what I non-affectionately not call the tree of shame here out back. It's a non-fruiting mulberry tree, and this thing is wilder than a March hare. I just had this trimmed, just had this cut back 11 months ago, and look at it. And I've hauled out so much stuff off of this tree. This thing has just got to go. It blocks some of the sun from the orchard, but I think it's kind of funny. You know, we did a lot of work to open up the front of the Rancho, the main entrance, the double gate entrance here in the Rancho. And yes, you can see out there to the front street, the property runs all the way up there to the front street. And, you know, it's big enough here to get RVs and work trucks through. There's been drywall delivered before, and you know, it's easy to get access here, and you can see it goes all the way back to the fence line in the back. Now, some people have questioned the apple tree back here, and you can get an idea. The property's basically the size of a football field here, about 300 by about 80 and 90 feet, something on that order. There weren't a lot. Some people were questioning, like, where's all the apples this year? Well, apple trees tend to be alternate bearing, meaning some years you get a very heavy crop and some years you get a very light crop. This is a Gravenstein apple tree, which is like a tiger stripe variety. It doesn't ship well, but it's used here locally for sauces, juices, pies, and it's a heritage variety, but you don't really see it outside of the area. But look at how old this apple tree is still going. It's putting up suckers, which these are going to have to be removed because they drain a lot of the essence and life out of the tree. But look at the way that's humped over there. And yeah, I guess I could cut it down and get rid of it, but when it produces big. And it's probably been here since the house was put up and the Rancho was built in 1956. But look at the way it's got to get out from under this California oak tree here, which is massive and just hangs over everything. Surprised this fence is still held up, and I haven't had to rebuild it. And for some miraculous reason, it started to rise up and be vertical here. Now I'm going to secure it because it's not going to survive a windstorm here, but you can see we still have a little bowing on this side. So I would like to put this into high production. I would like to get a old tractor, a classic tractor, get some implements and turn this into production. I would like to put 3 rows of Silver Queen white corn here, 100 feet for each row, and then 100 feet of tomato plants, and then 100 feet of white onions, white Spanish onions here. And I think that would be pretty awesome. So if that sounds something interesting to you, make sure you subscribe because things are always changing here on the Rancho. It's a beautiful day today. I like to think our highest heat of the season is over, but you never know. What's worked really well this year is the watering system. And each of these trees here, this is the new almond tree that we put in, and this will give plenty of production. One almond tree. This was put in this year, and it's doing super well. It's called the all-in-one almond variety, which is very popular. We did get one little almond on it this year, which was pretty cool. I am going to do a separate video here. The plum harvest was good for the Santa Rosa plum. We've got the last little bits here that are drying out and sort of turning themselves into prunes. This is the one that we're going to be talking about in a separate video. This is called the elephant heart plum here. And you're going to see inside of this plum, and it's really surprising how juicy it's red and it's purple. We're going to do a separate video on that, and I much prefer this variety over the Santa Rosa plum. So I'm actually thinking about removing that over there and giving more free rein to this tree. The peach harvest was spectacular this year. We put up something like 27 pints of peaches. Excellent. This needs to be cut back very sharply now because it's going to be a light bear next year, and I would rather have it continue to strengthen its skeletal frame here, and that's absolutely critical. That way you prevent branches from breaking, because peaches tend to really produce a great deal. A lot of time that can be problematic. You see down here we have some type of voles that dig up here and there. They're always seeking out moisture. They do like to munch on the roots of trees too, but so far so good. These Valencia, and I've told people before, if you're going to have one tree, and this looks like some kind of wild, this is an abnormal, this is up from the sucker from the root base here. If I don't miss my guess, and yeah, there's a couple of them, they'll have to be cut off because they sap energy from the tree, and you can tell they're sort of wild because of the big spikes that they have on them. And you got to get rid of these things because they don't produce really a usable fruit. They're a very wild rootstock. They come off the rootstock, which is used to make a rot resistance Valencia orange tree. They got to go. We cut this back a lot. The Seville orange that you use for real British style orange marmalade. But what's really cool here is as all these Valencias hang here, they become much greater in size, and they've swelled up with juice inside, which is fantastic. Look at that. It's almost the size of a grapefruit. I gave some of these to a friend. He's talking about how juicy they were. They juiced them. So we got plenty of production off of this tree, but I love the way they expanded. Plus they can just hang all year long and they retain their juice inside, whereas the navel oranges, once they've hung too long, the tree starts to pull the moisture back out of the fruit, and you don't like that. You certainly don't want that. We did get some nice cherries this year. This is small Stella. I planted another one here. This is going to be cut back so much. This is not going to be an issue. This is a Bing, and I would rather have this get a little shade because these things tend to dry out and don't do as well in the brilliant sunshine. And there's another beautiful elephant heart plum hanging down. There's some more over here. And we're going to do a separate harvest video on them. And look at the pears here. This is the first year we're going to get a few pears. And production is definitely going to pick up. I think this is a Bosc, B-O-S-C variety. And they're kind of interlaced with each other, these. But I think they're going to be very good eating. So there's a nice big size on that. So believe it or not, a little shade is a desirable thing, especially if your fruit trees tend to be a little bit on the delicate side. The watering system here has been fantastic. Let's talk about that a minute. In total, we have about a half a mile of irrigation lines running around the Rancho, and here's one of the trees that's putting up a sucker. You can see coming from the bottom. We need to get rid of these. So, see our lemon tree, baby lemons galore. But what I did over here was I put a new timer on so we wouldn't have a runaway well pump. Again, so this pump only gets power between 8, like 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. After that, it powers down. So in case we spring a leak, the pump would try to run continuously to keep the pressure up, and that would result in a huge energy bill. But you can see some of the lines that run out to the Rancho here, so it's absolutely critical. We don't get rain here from April till November, December, so it's critical that we have irrigation. There's a beautiful Washington navel, but you can see how that's kind of a deteriorated. That the navel oranges just do not hold well. You have to harvest them within about 3 weeks or so of when they reach their peak ripeness and have nice color, but it's going to be nice production this year, which I'm really happy about. Then after harvest, we'll cut this back to keep this very low and make it nice and bushy and easy to harvest out of. Make sure that it has a nice shape to it. But anyway, the irrigation system has worked perfectly. It irrigates half of the front lawn and the other half. Then it comes around and it works into the planter boxes here. And I've had this whole thing on automatic here with the watering, so it keeps it very specifically on the base of it. Yeah, I got to do a little bit of weeding and stuff like that, but it keeps that really nice and watered at the base, and it doesn't leave wet ground everywhere else, so you have rotting tomatoes where the roly-polies get them. So this week you're going to be able to look forward to canning. We're going to be canning probably our first 20 pounds of tomatoes here. Look at how beautiful some of these are. And here, this is really done well. So the watering system has been great. This cage has been really good too. It's helped keep the plants contained. I put this up and it keeps them from flopping all over for the most part. I mean, I haven't kept up with everyone being put inside, but the watering system, I haven't had to do any extra watering. There's Sammy, our spider. But over here, look at the size. This is the big mortgage lifters here. The size of these tomatoes, and they're just doing fantastic here. So it's going to be exciting. I hope you'll be a part of the canning of it. This one was starting to weaken, but now it's coming back pretty strong. I don't know. Sometimes the soil gets a little overworked, but the watering is working great. This is where we composted our organic matter, and you can see this vine has been going absolutely nuts. So normally you would plant a Roma tomato, and I probably should have planted Roma, and I probably will San Marzano next year. They're better for canning and stuff, but any tomato can be used. And lastly, you've seen the citrus update. So what's coming up this week? We have harvesting of the plums, as well as making a red sauce here. This is our persimmon tree. This is the high chia variety. which is like pudding when it's super soft, but they have to be eaten when they're very soft. Otherwise, they're very, very astringent. So I think basically everything has worked out pretty well here on the Rancho. If I had to replant or pick some other fruits and vegetables to grow, I might do it a little different. But I think everything has really worked out. This hasn't worked out. All right, guys. With that, I'm going to close it out here on the Rancho. Lots of good content coming up. If you love content of visiting places like Berkeley and Oakland, that's going to be coming up. And vintage audio, we're going to be back in the workshop working on the Marantz 4420 quadraphonic unit, and check out a lot of the vintage audio playlist things, and especially the Wall of Sound. We do demonstration cooking in Kitchen Stadium. Last night made incredible Salisbury steak. The week before made beef stroganoff. Oh, wow. You're saying, well, how do you stay so slim, right? Keep walking, keep exercising, and get yourself a Rancho. that'll keep it plenty busy. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Thumbs up or appreciate, subscribe, and hit that bell. Thanks, everyone.